So this is a really big deal. The deleted scenes that we're going to show you now, which is starting with this first one here, which is there's a character in the movie that I cut out, and it really killed me to cut this character out because it was played by a brilliant, brilliant actor named Sterling Brown, who actually won the Emmy for the O.J. Simpson series the same year. A beautiful man, amazing actor, and so very, very, very difficult to cut this whole sequence out. But the first scene you're going to see is basically he plays Dr. Fletcher's neighbor, and he's a professor of the brain, and he teaches neuroscience and what the brain's capable of. And so all of his scenes were kind of meant to talk about what the brain is capable of, but it was also meant to show kind of Dr. Fletcher's loneliness. Dr. Fletcher kind of has a crush on this kind of younger professor that lives in the apartment building, and I love that kind of unrequited relationship that they have. And then he comes to realize, oh my gosh, she literally has a crush on me. This is really awkward. And it ultimately, this whole sequence didn't make it into the movie because they weren't directly dealing with the case of Kevin Wendell Crumb. And when you put a movie together and the pressure of a thriller, it just won't allow anything that isn't trying to solve the problem, the exact problem that the movie is based on. And really, it's an error on my part, kind of falling in love with characters and falling in love with a relationship that's not, worshiping the god of plot. And that's a struggle of screenwriters. But anyway, this is the first scene. They both are incredible in it, and they're very funny and flirty through all of these scenes. So this is the first moment you meet Professor Shaw.
Good morning.
I read those articles.
Amazing, right? This man theorizes that the human brain contains about 10 to the 10th, about 10 billion bits of information per cubic centimeter. The brain is therefore, in his opinion, 10,000 times more densely packed with information than a computer.
It's lovely.
I gotta tell you, I love this idea of yours that those who have suffered might be the more extraordinary. Look, you should just audit my class, Dr. Fletcher.
What would I do socializing with a bunch of 20-year-olds?
Oh, they would fawn over you. Especially when they find out what your area of speciality is.
So, what's the next reading, Professor?
Essays on how the evolution of the brain is an analogous one. They convey that most of evolution is this way. Nothing is thrown away. It's amended. The deep and ancient parts are still functioning. The crocodile brain is still alive.
I'll read it tonight. Just email me later.
I will. I'm sorry I have to rush the class.
I went to the doctor today. Just the usual dribble about slowing down. This short hair thing of my physician really bothers me. I mean, she's a woman in her 30s, and short hair clearly sends a signal that the shop is closed, that sexuality is not a high priority. I'm not sure it's in my best interest to listen to someone whose priorities are so convoluted. See you later.
Bye, Doc.
So this second Shaw scene here is kind of her coming to a party that he's having in his apartment. And again, it's to kind of show her loneliness, and he has a full life, and he has friends, and there's women there that he's interested in, and she's a little bit jealous, a little bit left out, and she's an older lady, and she doesn't know her place, but she kind of makes excuses to come to talk to him, and so she's constantly asking about the brain and what it's capable of, and she is doing this to learn about the brain to help her patients. But there's obviously a personal part to it, too. Now, this particular scene I love because I wrote this speech about the autistic brain, what happens when an autistic savant concentrates. They can learn to play Beethoven just by hearing it. And I was feeling similarities between what they can do and what DID patients could do. So this is a scene where the two of them, these two colleagues, kind of talk about that connection.
You just stop me when it's time for your date.
It's not a date. It's just work colleagues and friends getting together.
Well, I'm gonna ignore that obvious lie. This party is clearly a ruse for a salacious objective.
I would never allow one of my real students to meet me after class like this.
Are those your hoochies?
They're my friends, Dr. Fletcher, yes.
The more zoftig one is a catch, but the other two are beneath you.
I tend to agree.
You know what? I'll email you my questions.
You're just using me to prove your thesis, that your clients are real.
I use everybody.
You know, you've almost convinced me, by the way.
How so?
I was thinking there are studies about the autistic brain. They show an autistic savant can shut out other stimuli and see things in a field with astounding acuity. Now, it's possible that your patients are compartmentalizing in the same fashion. Compartmentalizing is everything to assimilating information. It's hyper-concentration. It would explain the way that they can master language, knowledge, skills. There's scientific precedent for this.
Sometimes I think people won't believe unless they see it for themselves.
Maybe.
You should go. The pheromones from your inamoratas are making me nauseous.
Let's see if we can convince some people together. And they're attorneys, Dr. Fletcher.
Go do a lap, as they say.
You're terrible.
So this is the final scene between the two of them, Professor Shaw and Dr. Fletcher. And basically, it's this really awkward scene where Dr. Fletcher is dropped by yet again, kind of uninvited, where he's having a date. He's about to leave on a date with this beautiful woman, and she's very awkwardly there. And they basically have this weird triangle conversation, and that Professor Shaw doesn't want her to hurt her feelings, and he's being very supportive. And now the girlfriend's like, "Why are you paying more attention to her?" And this is very odd. But the thing they're talking about, and the way Dr. Fletcher kind of goes at the girlfriend there, was a really important speech for me, and I was sad to not have it in the movie, where she talks about the facts of how the mind and the body are connected between stress and the blood pressure and the placebo effect. So it's really, really cool logic that leads through DID and makes it all facts. So it was really important and something that I really believe in. So here's that scene. And also the end of it, she confesses that she kind of has a crush on him, and he's kind of taken aback. It's kind of a beautiful thing, and she kind of connects her loneliness to her obsession of DID. And that's one of my favorite moments in the movie that's not in the movie, this moment where she says why she was obsessed with DIT people and why she's kind of envious of them.
I'm sorry to drop by unannounced.
Oh, please. Our reservation isn't for half an hour.
I don't buy it. I'm sorry for being blunt. I would need to see the evidence.
You know, everything in brain development would support this.
Psychology and physiology are linked, my young attorney friend. That is scientific fact. When you stress, your blood pressure goes up.
I'll buy that.
I give you a sugar pill and tell you it's the cure, and you cure yourself. The placebo effect is scientific fact. DID patients have changed their body chemistry with their thoughts. What they think they are, they are.
I don't think what you're saying they can do is possible. I just can't accept it. I'm sorry.
Well, I've seen studies on the placebo effect. It's amazing.
She's nice.
You're right. Not about her.
I'm afraid she won't believe unless she sees. I'm not just using you to prove my thesis. You know, sometimes I think I'm obsessed with DID patients because I envy them.
How so?
They're never alone.
Have you seen my purse?
Bye.